Взрывая мгновенье через сотни лет, мы растаем в пыли своих надежд, оставляя поколениям горький след. И в памяти лица близких нам людей, праздник красных флагов, звонкий смех детей. Все исчезло, остались слезы среди камней. Растворяя осколки грез, мы вспомним друга былом. Тень ошибки из детских слез, с ней живем. Время жить, время умирать, не время нам о судьбе другой мечтать, не вернуть былого вновь. Прости меня, мой дом родной. А жизнь на экране повторяет бег, но реальность ранит хуже всяких бед. Забываем о призвании свысока. Мертвой листвой укрылась вся земля, за стеной деревьев спрятались дома. В этот город не вернуться никогда.
Oh, there we go. Hello there, everybody. How y'all doing? So like I said, Stalker 2 still doesn't run very good on my PC because it's kind of old, right? But you know what? I figure I need a reason to play around, to keep working on, like getting back into modding the game. Especially because every time I see the mods that like people have actually been doing, I always get that feeling of, oh, they've already done all the things I want to do. And I feel kind of shitty, because it's like, I feel kind of shitty. And it's like, I haven't done much. I have not really done much, right? I basically have just gotten the stuff that I was using before working again and setting all of that up. But I figure at the same time, I discovered something, right? I discovered something since the last time I played this on stream. And like I said, it still doesn't run great. And you will see that very much. You will see that very well. Like I said, it still doesn't run great, but it runs, which is something, I guess, considering the age of the hardware it's on. And that's a huge deal, frankly. The fact that it runs at all still kinda shocks me. It's like, holy shit. But the thing I discovered is that back when I tried to stream this last time, because of some bad interface design in an Afterburner skin, it turns out that the whole time I was doing this, I was underclocking my GPU, which made it run even worse. So like I said, it's not amazing by any means. The way it runs is not amazing by any means. But it's an improvement. After having done that, it has improved. And like part of me was like, today was just like, oh, do I really want to do this? Was like, you know what? I do. That's why we started a bit late, in case you're wondering, is I had that like moment of like fighting myself where it's like, oh, do I really want to do this? And I was like, yes, I do. Yes, I do want to do this. Stop it. Stop it. We're going. And so here we are. And like I said, the main thing I've been doing is just kind of going through the old changes I made before and making sure they all work. Which thankfully they do. They do thankfully work now. And that is really surprised that I was able to get everything kind of working again. It's still gonna need a lot more work. I'm gonna need to sit down and stare at CFG files for God knows how long to get it all where I actually want it to be. And then on top of that, if I want to do any further, I need a new drive, because it turns out the actual SDK that would let me do more sophisticated stuff, it's there. It's great. It's 700 gigs. It's a 700 gigabyte SDK, and that's just for the that's just for the tools. And the stuff I've been doing already doesn't really need those. It does mean that exporting and such is a little bit trickier, a little bit jankier, but so far I have thankfully not needed those tools because I don't have the drive space for them. I literally do not have enough storage space for the SDK for this game. And on top of that, I've been seeing this with people who do have the SDK. They've been doing some interesting stuff so far, but you can really tell it's in early stages of release, and there's a lot of stuff that isn't really yet available for them to do. So I want to keep an eye on that. I really want to keep an eye on that because I want to see, particularly, I want to see if Shay, one of the people who's really been involved in the early SDK development, I need to see if Shay has gotten them to finally unlock the render distance, because they locked that down way back, a few updates ago, which broke Shay's living zone. And then yeah, no, not yet. Okay, so that is That is not yet available yet, so we're gonna keep working on that. But so some of the things that we are doing though, some of the things that we are working on that I need to, so I think the main thing I need to do is narrow myself down, because what Shay's done here is actually really great, and you can tell this guy's been doing this forever, and I'm comparing myself to people who have been doing modding stuff like this for a very long time, which is not good. It's very much not a good thing to do. So I think what I need to do is stop myself comparing myself to people who, first of all, have hardware that can run the game well, have enough drive space for the SDK, and 3, have been doing this shit since the original trilogy. Because I came in newish. So I'm still kind of new to this, and I need to stop rushing myself to be like, oh, I need to be as good as this person who's been doing this for years. Everything I'm doing sucks. So I need to narrow myself down to the part that I am actually kind of good at, which is the ballistics, because it's relatively simple. I have a clear vision for what I want to do with that. And then from there, I can branch out into other things that ballistics kind of interferes with. I think that's the main thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to build, I need to get back into like building this up progressively. Don't force myself to try and do everything all at once, and go from there. Because the main things that I want to do, though, are ballistics, artifacts, mutants. And then I will let other people handle the rest of it, like stashes and so on. So that would be like ballistics, artifacts, items, upgrades, and mutants. Those are the main things I should be focusing on for what I want to do, because those are the things I kind of have an understanding of. But anyways, with all of that, let's actually get into it, shall we? Let's actually get into it, shall we? Because I'm not really feeling much yapping right now, but I do want to show some of the stuff that I have actually gotten around to. Now, this is all still in a very crude state, mind you. Also in a very crude state, and it probably will be for a while, because I'm just like, ugh. Every time I stare at those CFG files, after a little while, after a few minutes, my eyes just glaze over. I have to stop, take a break, and come back and do it again. I either get to this moment of being absolutely locked in on the CFG files, and like, you know, just doing that, or I just glaze over and I can only do it for like short bursts. It's no in between those two. But, so let's see, I think I've gotten everything into a state where it functions, which is what I really need it to be right now. I'm using a couple of other mods though. In particular, I'm running Oxide's Expanded Armory. I'm sure what the name of it. Yeah, I'm running Oxide's Expanded Armory, and at least one other, but I forget which one. I have to look, actually. I have to look now to see which ones I'm running aside from the stuff I've been working on. Because there's the stuff I've been working on, which, like I said, is all kind of in a very crude state right now, but and needs to be adjusted and updated. But I'm trying to remember what else I'm running. I'm just looking to see what else I'm running is all. Oh yeah, I'm running a flashlight mod. Oxides, yeah. So I'm running the stuff I'm working on, which is still, like I said, very much in progress and very crude state. I'm running Oxide's Expanded Armory, and I'm running a flashlight mod. But aside from those three, the game is currently pretty, you know, it's pretty stripped down, pretty out of the box. That will be changing over time as I start, you know, figuring out what the hell I'm doing. Like I said, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it a chunk at a time, instead of trying to be like, oh, look at this person who's built like a mega mod, you know, like Imp Solve with Stalker Infinity, and I forget what their new version is called. And I'm like comparing myself to that, because that's somebody, that is somebody who has been probably modding these games since the original trilogy and has years of other modding experience on top of that. So, you know, stop comparing myself to that guy. And on top of that, don't feel like I'm not allowed to talk to that guy, because, you know, I might be able to learn something from them if I actually communicate with them. But in the meantime, like I said, Meantime, like I said, I'm going to focus on the parts I know, because I have some very specific plans that I've already started implementing, but need to go further on. The big one being that I've gone through and I've actually given not only each weapon, and sure, you might argue, oh, this doesn't really matter because of how the render system works, and that's kind of true, but I am kind of planning for the future with this as well, when hopefully people like Shay and other modders eventually get render distance and such unlocked, so that AI can spawn, so that AI and such can spawn out past, what is it, 100 meters? So, but once that happens, that's one of the things I'm really working on here, hopefully going to start coming into play. The big ones being, like I said, each weapon having individualized projectile velocities rather than all having, the same projectile velocity for a whole caliber, instead of every caliber having the same projectile velocity. Not only is each weapon going to have the individualized projectile velocity, but the plan is also for each ammo type within that weapon to have an individualized projectile velocity. So, for example, 545, 545 ball, 545 AP, and 545 hollow point will all have different velocities. And the way the game works right now, you can't really go in and then give them different drops and such, which is a shame because drop is done on a weapon basis. But I do want to try and see how much I can do to try and individualize, basically, like I said, individualize the ballistics for different weapons, individualize the ballistics for different ammo types. I may actually give up on the whole different ammo types having the same ballistics, and then just go with each weapon having its own velocity, so because of how the rest of the ballistics work. But even then, just keeping that consistent so that they're individualized in that sense is probably something I'm going to try doing. And then maybe at some point later on down the line, once the tools have been made, once the tools are more open, and once there's more knowledge on what stuff does in the game, maybe I could come back and try and do it also as per ammo type. But we'll see where that goes. In the meantime, though, the other thing I've been doing is the other thing I need to get into is the upgrade system. Because of how I'm radically changing how ballistics and such work, particularly when it comes to weapon damage, so it feels more like Anomaly or not so much Anomaly, more like Gamma or Autumn Aurora in terms of impact of bullets, where bullets are very lethal to everyone involved, and making difficulty scale making difficulty scale the way a lot of people used to believe the original trilogy did. Because that was always a myth. Let's get that way. That was always a myth that master difficulty got rid of bullet sponges. But making it so that that myth is real is something I'm trying to do, among other things. Okay, up here. Turn on our flashlight. But yeah, this is a flashlight mod I'm running so that it's a narrower, brighter beam, but it's not like blinding. I remember the first time I was modding the flashlight, I had it said it was like a 10,000 lumen flashlight that was absolutely ridiculous. Well, since then, it has become a bit more reasonable. It's become a bit more reasonable since then, but I'm not the person who came up with this flashlight. I do want to know what they actually did for this flashlight. So I might have to look and see how they actually made the adjustments. But, it's an actually reasonable flashlight now. Okay, he's down. Go, 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 go. But so, like I said, the main things I'm working on with what I'm doing are reworking ballistics, armor, and then at some point, because of that, I'm going to have to redo... That I just thought of that I'm going to have to redo is the upgrade system, like I said. Because right now, the way the upgrade system works means that if you actually go into it on top of everything else, the upgrade system is very tuned around weapons working like RPG, like an RPG, almost like RPG style. And that's a very different direction than the one I'm planning on going in with how ballistics and armor work, where I want those to follow more shooter logic. again, because my mindset comes from mods like Autumn Aurora, where bullets were very lethal. I mean, bullets were bullets, and you respected bullets. Is the way I can describe it. And then I also want, what's the way I'm trying to put this? I want bullets to be very lethal, but I also want body armor to matter. So I'm kind of caught in a bit of a situation there where it's like, how far can I push the lethality of bullets, but also still make body armor relevant so that you don't end up in a situation where you're just better off running around in the starting leather jacket because it's lighter than other suits. That makes sense? But just to give you an example of how much of a difference I've already made in terms of ballistics, you see that right there? Drop the flesh in 2 shots. Which I remember it took like, especially when this game first came out, the way damage was set up, it took like 2 magazines to drop a single flesh. That still needs tuning because I do want to encourage the use of hollow point rounds against mutants. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do with that. Because that is, like I said, eventually I want it to be like, I'm leaning in towards how Gamma had it set up, where Gamma's ballistics, where you would use rifle ammo and armor piercing ammo against human enemies, and then you would want to carry a shotgun or hollow point ammo for use against mutants. And I'm trying to figure out how best to scale things to make that work. It may end up just being a case that some mutants will have to be like some mutants will get kind of screwed over, like the flesh and such, which, I mean, frankly, they're not meant to be very... They're not meant to be very durable anyways, so who cares? I guess. Okay, fine. Let's find a thing to break so you'll shut up. About destructible objects. God. How do I make this go away? There we go. Okay, good. Let's find a thing to break so it shuts up. Because since now I've disabled it. Oh, I have to go over there. Okay. Maybe if I go over there, I'll find something to break that'll shut it up. Let's find out if that's the case. I'll take that vodka, though. Load. Let's load last save, see if that makes it go away. Because I think it's bugged. I think it's bugged. But let's see where this puts us then. I am actually glad to know that certain tricks still work after this prologue. In particular, there was one that I learned. Okay, so sure, you might argue, oh, that's not really something you should be allowed to do, but it is still a very useful thing. It doesn't let you keep one of the weapons, which is kind of interesting. I always think it's kind of funny. It's like, you could stash everything but this one weapon, and once you go, you get to keep them. You can get them back. You can retrieve them. Do I still have the full-length AK on me? I do. Okay. Like, you can keep the full-length AK. You can keep both of the 74Us and all the other shit you might throw in there. But for whatever reason, I always thought it was hilarious because you get an HK416 in this prologue section, right? It is the one weapon the game doesn't let you keep. And I always thought that was hilarious. Watch it. Okay, if I actually hit that bloodsucker, I'm gonna laugh. Because that would be fucking hilarious. Just dump a few rounds in that, just dumping a few rounds in the vague direction of where, you know, the bloodsucker was. Can only imagine. It'd be fucking hilarious how that would actually glitch the game out. I bet that would glitch things out really badly if I did that, wouldn't it? Also, I forgot, I need to change this over now, so let me do that real quickly. There we go. Now we've got that changed over. And let's see what's up inside this bunker, shall we?
Не думаю, що це буде так легко, але розберусь.
See what's waiting in. We already know how this part goes. We've already done this part like 4 or 5 times at this point. Hell, I think I did it twice on stream. We got, because remember, how far did we get? We got to, oh yeah, we got to the part where we wake up the monolith. That's the monolith last time I streamed this. Let's see how far we get. Let's see how far we get this time before I decide it's all broken and I need to start over again. So far though, it seems to be doing all right. Can't interact with that. Is there anything over here? Doesn't look like it. Nothing there, nothing there. That's a fire extinguisher. Oh yeah, we need to go over here where Nehoda is. Flip the switch. Alright. Grab Nehoda's PDA, grab the med kit. Grab these 2 extra med kits.
Негода мертвий, як і решта вчених.
Grab you. Ammo, more yellow med kits.
Не старий.
Then I need to go over here. Talk to you. Talk to you. Talk to you. Actually, no, talk to you. Just take your shit. Or am I even saying I'm talking to you as if you're still alive? I'm saying talk to you as if you're still alive. You're not alive. You're not alive. You've been dead for God knows how long at this point. We all know what happened to you, too. Faust and his goons came and murdered all of you. Okay. Copy the data from the laptop, and let's get moving again, shall we? Okay, we got coordinates, and now we're gonna get the call from, what's his name? Solder, yeah. I'll figure it out. Oh yeah, I've got a detector.
О, добре. Бо до цього все було легкою прогулянкою.
Walk through here. Grab the artifact.
Детектор вже є.
Now we run back outside into here so that we can set up the ambush for the bloodsucker. That's right, die, motherfucker.
У мене вже є артефакт.
This was such a stupid section. I get what they were trying to do here. I get what they were trying to do here, where that's part of why they made the bloodsucker so spongy. They really should have put a different mutant here. I'm gonna say it right now. This should not have been a bloodsucker that you enrage when you do this part. It should have been something more dangerous, like a pseudo giant or a chimera. That would really have, you know, that would really make sense for like, oh yeah, you need to fucking run. The fact that it's a bloodsucker, which are kind of a, like, honestly, I'm gonna say it right now, even the original trilogy, they were kind of a mid-level threat, right? They were the kind of thing where if you had a rifle, they weren't really a problem. Either you shouldn't have gotten a rifle, you shouldn't have been able to get, you know, a good rifle this early on, or it should have been something more dangerous than a bloodsucker. That's kind of how I've always felt about this intro section. But I'm trying to think what could have been good here. The first thing that comes to mind is, like I said, a chimera or a pseudo giant as sort of like your initial welcome to the zone, motherfucker moment. Honestly, I think that's what I would have gone with, is a pseudo giant. Because that way, you know, it's like, yeah, even if you have a rifle, like, you know, even if you have a rifle, these things are dangerous as fuck.
Непримітне.
But let's see. Nope, did not charge. As we all know, this part goes.
Бляха. Хрін там.
Так і знав.
Okay, flashlight off.
Повертайся, поки я сам не поїхав.
Та тихо, не панікуй. Час іще є. Іду до наступної точки.
One down. Did we get them all? Wow, that was quick. Let's see. Yep, that's one bandit. That's one dead bandit. Which had a TOS 66 on him. That's completely fucking broken. But we'll take the ammo for it because I can use that later. What about you over here? What do you have on you? I think one of them had a rifle. I think one of them had a... Oh, no, it's an MP5. I'll still take it, though. That'll be useful. For nothing else, I can sell it. It's like... I think part of the reason why I've always kind of leaned into this school of thought regarding ballistics modding in Stalker, not just for Stalker 2, mind you, but the series as a whole, is I never really used the technicians, even in the original trilogy. I just kind of ran with it. I was just like, yeah, no, I have a gun, and, I mean, it's a gun. A gun is a gun. And the only upgrades I ever got were stuff for, like, attachments, or... you know, stuff that had like a physical, tangible effect. None of the stuff that was like increased muzzle velocity, damage boost, you know, more damage. Like those were not the mods not the upgrades I ever actually used. Only ones I used were like, oh yeah, you can put an optic on it now. Or, you know, your gun's broken, it needs to be repaired. Those were the ones that I used. I never used the ones that were, you know, stat boosts. Just personally. And I think that kind of shows, I guess, a difference in mindset of how I approach the series versus how maybe some other people did, where people would actually use the stat upgrades and treated it more like an RPG. No. If we keep going this way, we should find a way up. Ah, there it is. I knew we would. I just didn't know where. Because I remember you can still get it. I always remember you can still get into this old barge. Oh, Poltergeist is not happy. Poltergeist is now dead. What was it guarding? I wonder. I always forget what was actually here.